Hey guys, I'm Grestar and welcome to my Q&A. You guys ask questions and I've hopefully got some answers for you. So what I've done here is I've taken screenshots of your questions and in case any of you put little messages after them, I cropped down all of the questions. So if you put something nice, it doesn't mean that I didn't like it. It's just to say, to make it as efficient and smooth as possible, less clutter when I, have them on screen and such. I cropped the questions, but thank you guys for your kind messages. It was good to read. And here we go for some answers now. So let's start off with, what's your favorite time of year? Actually, autumn is my favorite time of year. I like cooler weather, and I really like the wind, actually. And autumn, it gets so pretty outside, and it's when all the pesky bugs start to die. So I really like autumn. What did you do at your internship? I was a tour guide at a National Historic Site, so I took care of the visitor center. I helped clean things up. I helped run cash registers there, at the shop, people checking in and essentially buying their tickets sort of thing. And then I gave tours of the site itself, so that's what I did. How did you meet your best friend? I'll go with the friend with whom I have, I guess, the most interesting story. Not that it's super interesting, but it was second grade, and we had both just barely seen an episode of Arthur that aired, where they had, a club. And so we kind of just turned to each other while waiting for the teacher to let us into the class, and we're like, hey, do you want to start a club? And we're like, sure. And so that's all it was. Then we started to hang out, and, I had a thing, every day after school, our goodbye was basically, ask if you can play today. That was basically it, so good stuff. Who's your favorite superhero? I think I have to go with Spider-Man. I like his abilities, and I think that his attitude is pretty fun. I haven't read the comics, I've only seen the movies, but I like all of the Spider-Man movies that I've seen. Some of them definitely less so than others, and I definitely like some iterations of Spider-Man more than others. I am rather partial to the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man actually, which I know isn't necessarily a popular vote, but he's my favorite. Why the hat? It looks stylish though. Thank you. Mostly, a lot of it is just because I think it looks good. I also recorded some videos without a hat and people just didn't seem to like what they saw. But basically since high school, my hair just started thinning and I'm self-conscious, and so I cover it with a hat. Now I shave my head because otherwise it's it looks really thin and it gets dirty really quickly because of that. So I have a hat now. Hey. Would you ever think of opening a fan mail P.O. box? I actually was considering that back when my channel seemed more successful than it is now. And I ended up not doing it because, one, I wasn't confident that people would actually want to send me stuff, enough to make it worthwhile at least. And two, it turns out that holding one of those is actually pretty expensive. I didn't realize that before. If in the future I'm making enough money for my channel where I could, reasonably give up that much money every so often, I forget how often you have to, pay again, then I may consider it, but right now I'm only making enough for groceries, and I definitely don't think I have enough people who would actively want to send me things, so maybe in the future. What's your favorite subject in school? If you've watched any of my playthroughs of visual novels, you might be able to guess English correctly, because it's English. My favorite subject is English. I'm not a huge fan of reading. Stories are great, but I just can't get myself to really do it anymore. I love, fiction. Fiction's good. Fantasy stuff is nice. But I particularly enjoy in English classes, grammar and stuff like that. And, the origin of language and syntax and stuff. The boring stuff that everyone else hates, that kind of thing. What is your favorite weapon? I don't know if I have a favorite weapon necessarily, but one weapon that I don't see terribly often, but I do think is cool, is the tonfa. They look like the police nightstick kind of things, but you hold the handle here, a little bit extends this way, and then the rest is kind of down across your arm. It's just cool. Which would you rather do? Go into a fantasy world and have adventure with some random people you meet in that world, or become a god of something? I'd rather do the fantasy world thing. I think that sounds super cool. Also, of course, comes with risks, but I don't know. It's not that I wouldn't want to be super powerful, like a god or anything, but there's so much responsibility. What's your favorite food? I like pizza. I also like breakfast burritos, but not the kind that you would get from fast food places because they think that spicy cheese is the only way to go for some reason. I don't know, come on, just give me, I just want eggs, sausage, doesn't have to be super spicy sausage, just mild sausage, some sour cream, some shredded cheese, cheddar or something. That's delicious. I love those. If you could have anything, what would it be? Happiness. Lasting happiness. Which do you like more, the day or the night? That's kind of tricky. That was a mix of difficult and tricky. It's kind of difficult to say. I'm more productive in the morning. I prefer being out during the day, like if I'm to go out, like outside. I prefer it to be daytime, because at night I get scared. Not of the dark, but of things that could be in the dark, like murderers. But at night, I don't know, I also kind of just feel like by that point, I feel more free at night a little bit when I'm in my house. Because throughout the day, there are just like little obligations, but just things like, the potential of family meals or like, well, usually just that. Things like that. Little obligations tend to come up during the day. And when I have those looming ahead of me, I kind of feel like I can't really invest in anything. I can't become really engaged in any activity. So it leaves me just kind of feeling a little awkward. But at night, I don't really have those obligations ahead of me, typically speaking. So, my favorite time of the day, like day or night, it kind of just depends on the context, I guess. What is your favorite song? Also a difficult question. Recently, I've listened to more of Zach Hemsey. When I played my character Cassandra Pine in Angel Arts' Pokemon Spectrum tabletop campaign, which if you'd like to check that out, go to Angel Arts' channel. It was fun. We had to pick a theme song, and for Cassie, I picked The Way by Zach Hemsey. And then after listening to more of his songs, and as we played more in that roleplay, as we progressed further along, it was like, oh my gosh, more of Zach Hemsey's songs like really fit well with Cassie's backstory, or like what's happening and how she currently feels about things. And he has a really cool style. It's like a cinematic rap. It's really cool. You should check it out if you haven't before. Nine Inch Nails has a lot of really good songs and a lot of good variety within that. I like Mindless Self-Indulgence. I like Daft Punk. I like Weird Al. I like Linkin Park. Oh, Linkin Park is great. I like a variety of things. I tend to lean toward like heavier music, I suppose. But it has its limitations, and of course it just could. It largely depends on the time. I know you weren't asking about like favorite artists or anything, but I don't have a favorite song, I don't think. It really just depends on the moment. Which would you rather fight, a full-grown black bear or a praying mantis that is 9 feet tall? Neither, but if I have to pick, I think the black bear. I feel like I know better how to defend against a black bear. Or, one of those where it's like, play dead. Like, become as small as you can, like, cover your head and stuff, right? I think that's what you do with black bears, especially if you're already being attacked. I think you just want to be small. As far as a praying mantis, yeah, I have no, like, methods in mind for dealing with a praying mantis, and I feel like at that size, their spines would just be, like, super sharp and would just puncture me instantly, and like, oh, so could a bear's claws. Yeah, but a bear doesn't have that many, and they don't have, like, scissor freaking, okay, those aren't scissors, but you know what I mean. And not only that, but I think just the sight of a 9-foot-tall praying mantis would probably demoralize me quite a bit. What elements can make the most beauty? I'd have to say probably fire first, but then water second. Because within water, you have to accept ice. And I don't know, maybe not in that order. They're really close. I keep going back and forth. I think that fire can be really pretty, but so can just, like, water, and, it can create rainbows. And then ice can be amazing with its reflections, with how, like, the light can just sparkle across it. I think those, so I'm going between those two. Earth can definitely make some pretty things, just look at the natural structures, mountains and everything, arches. Like, yeah, Earth can definitely be pretty. But I think just I would lean more toward water and fire. What is your favorite video game of all time? I unfortunately don't have an answer for this one either. Oftentimes, if it's what's your favorite blank, I just won't really have an answer for that. But some favorite video games, the Paper Mario games are really good. Pokemon as a series itself is really good. I have more, like Fire Emblem, those were good games. Legend of Zelda, like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, those are really good games. I'll just stick with those. Those are good games. What has been your personal favorite Let's Play you've done? That would be Doki Doki Literature Club. I thought that, like, it was kind of my introduction to visual novels, which I've since enjoyed with Pixel Fate Studio games, Ace Academy, Crystalline, and Coyote After Story, which if you'd like to watch, check out my other channel called Grestar, where I uploaded the first video of that today. So, it was a good game. I really enjoyed it. Beat it in one sitting. It was short. But anyway, favorite Let's Play, yeah, Doki Doki Literature Club. It introduced me to visual novels. I thought that the characters were cute. I thought the story, it was really lighthearted at first, and if you're looking for a serious thing, yeah, it's not going to be your cup of tea. But then the way that it twisted the way that it completely changed, you know, I had guessed a lot of things, but there were still plenty of things that caught me completely off guard. And I was super tense when playing that. Like, I've watched a couple other people play Doki Doki since then, and like, the jump scares aren't nearly as bad as like I made them out to be, but like there'd be a blip of static and I would jump and I'd like yelp, you know, because I was so into the game and I got so tense, you know, waiting for something to happen. And it was really cool. And being able to like analyze their poems and, you know, figure things out before they would happen. Having those little interactions with you guys in the comments. I mean, I waited until after I beat the game to look at the comments, so I got to more see your reactions afterward. And then from Doki Doki Literature Club, you know, I had my April Fool's project, which I know not a ton of people cared about, which was a major downer for me. But it was a really good time for me. And I'm proud of what I was able to do. I really enjoy both my project and my behind the scenes for my April Fool's project. If you haven't seen either of those, I'd love it for you, you know, to actually go and check those out. I worked really hard on them, and I think it turned out good, so... yeah, but Doki Doki Literature Club, that's your answer. Do you have any big predictions for Avengers Endgame? First, I didn't know that's what it was called. Second, I think that Captain America and Iron Man are gonna die, and I think that basically everything else kind of will come back. I'm hoping that Loki will stay dead. Like, I'm not convinced that he's actually dead, but I'm hoping he'll stay dead, because he was supposed to die in Thor 2. That's when it would have been best for him, I think. That's when the character development, I think, would have been the best for Loki. But they ruined it! And I like Loki as a character, but when you're just tossing his character development out the window, you know, like, sure, he's being nice, a little more friendly to the characters now, but he's just gonna backstab him every time, and if he just keeps dying and coming back, it's not gonna mean anything anymore. Like, it already doesn't, really. Anyway, aside from that, Guardians of the Galaxy is gonna come back, Spider-Man's gonna come back, I think that Black Panther's gonna come back, I don't remember if, like, did War Machine die? Did whatever the Hawk dude die? Because I think they're going to come back. A lot of this is from a meta standpoint. Like, gosh, what are their names? Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., they've played their roles for quite a while now, and I just think that they're done. You know, maybe not in terms of contract, but maybe as a person, or both. And so I think that they're ready to, you know, give up the mantle. And so, I think, though, within the Marvel Universe, they have set up at this point characters who can take on those mantles. Like, I think that War Machine becomes Iron Man at one point, right? And Bucky can become Captain America. So they can keep, like, those franchises going, but just with different characters. Meanwhile, though, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man, you know, Black Panther, they just barely basically put those franchises out there. I just don't think that Disney is willing to give up that money from them. I think that Disney cares more about money than story, frankly speaking. So, I know I have a cynical viewpoint, but those are my predictions, and that's why I have them. But basically, before I transition, because I just realized I had another thought. I mean, it's basically just, I think that Doctor Strange was right, that in the end, they're gonna get, like, the Infinity Stone for time, and they're gonna, like, change things again, or the Reality Stone and warp it back to normal, I don't know. But probably time, that seems like it would be an easier way to fix things. So in that case, I'm not sure how, like, Iron Man and Captain America will die, but I think they will. But then why wouldn't they just turn time back again? It gets confusing. Maybe the gauntlet will be destroyed for some reason. But, you know, Doctor Strange said, like, he looked at all these realities or whatever, and only one way was how they won. I'm pretty sure that's just... I'm pretty sure they're on that path right now. Though while we're talking about Avengers, really quick, I do want to say, I thought the ending of it was real. I mean, I thought the movie was pretty good in general. The Gamora scene was maybe the dumbest scene, where she's talking to Thanos and then gets thrown. Anyway, major spoilers here. Hopefully you guys have all seen it. But the ending, it was cool because they didn't linger really on any of the deaths. The biggest being Spidey, I believe. And I thought that was really nice because I didn't leave the theater feeling sad, but more hopeless. You know, I had these thoughts in mind of like, they'll just come back next time, Time Stone and everything. But still, I just thought they did a really good job, like, capturing that emotion. They could have gone for tearjerkers, but they didn't, and I do think that was a smarter move, so well done. What was your favorite death battle to watch of all of them that have been uploaded? To watch. Okay, actually, when you specify to watch, that is a little more difficult. I want to say that, in general, my favorite death battle is Tracer versus Scout, because I know that I enjoyed that battle, but it's also the first battle that really, you know, inspired me to actually, like... I did a little research on them beforehand, and I made my own prediction video. I've never made a prediction video for any death battle before or since then. So I clearly had, like, I had ties to both of the characters. You know, at the time, like, Tracer was one of my mains of Overwatch, and Scout was one of my mains of TF2. So it was cool to be able to, like, be passionate a little bit, at least a little bit, about both of the characters, and actually try to reason through who would win over the other and why. Maybe it wasn't the most fun to watch necessarily, because I know that I disagreed with some of the things they used. Like, they used some feats for Scout that I just disagreed with them using because of this or that reason. And I know the animation a lot of people had issues with, because Scout kind of just walked around, and, you know, I could see it. I remember enjoying the animation well enough, but I can understand why, you know, more of a purist would, you know, they just want to see Scout actually doing Scout things. Like, he had the Scout attitude, I thought, but you're right. He wasn't running around like he should have been. And then, you know, Soul versus, what is it? Is it Ragna versus Soul? But you know what I'm talking about, though. You know the one I'm talking about. That had, I think, still the funniest moment to date with that man. You know, their little joke on that was really fun. And then a lot of fights have just been really good. You know, in general, I tend to enjoy the analyses, I mean, more than the fights. But usually I don't terribly enjoy one more over the other. It's just interesting in general to learn about the characters, even if I immediately forget about them, you know. It's just nice to hear. I like to hear those kind of scientific breakdowns of things and stuff. But like TJ Combo versus Balrog, like, that was a really good animation. I remember, like, being pumped for that. Like, I didn't care about it when they announced it because I didn't know either of them, and they're just fighters. But like, in the battle, it was really cool, and the music was really well done for it and everything. So there are a lot of cases like that, I believe, where the animation's just really well done. You have to give it credit. So I guess I'm cheating again. I don't know if I have a favorite, but there's a list of some things and some explanation behind it. Do you have a pet? I myself do not. At my family's house, which is nearby, we have 2 cats, Purper and Saffron. I believe it's a silver-tip Siamese, Purper, and he's an orange tabby, Saffron. I don't know about any more specifics than that. And Fennec, our Chihuahua. And then my older brother, with whom I lived for a little while, he has a cat, black cat with one eye named Callie. You might have seen her in a couple of my videos. I used to have at my family's house, we had Buttercup. She unfortunately died recently, October 23rd this year. So that was sad. If you want to see a picture of her, there's one somewhere in my playthrough of one of the Legend of Zelda games I did. I believe Link Between Worlds. But then I also posted a picture of her on my Facebook page. So, yeah. But to answer the question, no, I myself do not have a pet. Do you enjoy your death battle reactions since you don't always look like you do? It's one of the complicated things. If you've noticed the fact that I've made a new channel and changed this one to Riz Reacts, yeah, you might gather that I'm not always too happy about it. And yeah, I'm not always too happy about it. Sometimes I don't want to react to death battles, but I know that if I don't react to a death battle the weekend after it first comes out, people are gonna hound me. Like, people tell me the day a death battle comes out, why haven't you reacted to it yet? And I get that they're excited, and I'm glad that they like the content, but really, like, I always upload the death battle reactions at least on the weekends. And so you could at least wait until the Saturday, and if it's not uploaded that Saturday, then you could start asking questions. But so the fact that it's such an obligation, and that if I don't do it, like, people will get on my case about it, that always sucks. There's always the pressure too of, like, if I ever make a single mistake in a death battle, you know, if I mistake a Charizard for Dragonite, which I definitely know the difference between, but if I mistake one because it's shown briefly, if I miss something that was said in the sidelines, if I don't understand a joke, or if I accidentally talk over something, like, people will not let me hear the end of it. They just keep posting it over and over in the comments, and it's super annoying. So the obligation, the stress of it, and the fact that just kind of, I don't know, like, a little bit of bitterness toward reaction videos in a sense, because I never wanted to be a reaction channel. I'm grateful again for what reaction videos have done for me, but I do believe ultimately they've stunted my growth, as I said in my update video. And, like, at this point, like, you look at my videos, I'll upload a reaction video, and it'll get, you know, some thousands of views. And then I upload a gameplay video, which is what I'm much more passionate about, and I get nothing. And so, you know, do I enjoy my death battle reactions? Like, ultimately, yes, but there's definitely a lot of negativity surrounding it too. It depends on the day. It depends on my mood. You know, it depends on how many people have harassed me about it up to that point. But it's not to say that I dislike Death Battle or that I dislike doing reactions. It's just I dislike kind of what it's become, I guess, or what it often ends up meaning for me. So that's where things get a little tricky. Do you watch Dragon Ball Z Abridged? I don't watch it, like, I don't watch it actively. I have seen a little bit of it. I watched it, 2000, what date? 2011? I think 2011 was the last time I watched Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Maybe 2012. But it's clearly been a while. It was funny. I recall it being funny. I think I had watched all that they had up at the time, and then I stopped, and then I just never started again. But I can't rightly recall. If you ever bumped into Ben and Chad, what would you say? That's a good question. I don't know. If I ever bumped into, like, anyone, you know, whom I look up to in some manner or other, it's difficult. Like, I'm not the most socially outgoing person. I do, you know, worry about what people think of me more often than I should. And like, I have no real connections to Ben and Chad other than death battles. And while, you know, that is definitely a connection, I don't know, would they like to hear about that? Would they like to watch me fumble over my words? And I probably would just be too nervous about them, you know, not caring that they met me, that I either wouldn't really do anything, or I feel like I'd mess it up, you know? And if they didn't seem to care, that would suck, you know? Yeah, so I don't know what I'd say. I mean, I'd try to be friendly and, like, start a conversation, but, you know, if they had to go their own way, like, I wouldn't stop them. And again, if they didn't seem interested, that hurt. It probably would hurt, but yeah. What would you rather do? Listen to the worst song ever or arm wrestle a chimpanzee, which are 2 to 5 times stronger than humans? I'd much rather listen to the worst song ever. I've been on SoundCloud, you know? I think I've gotten pretty close to what you're suggesting. Favorite YouTubers besides Screw Attack? I like Pro Jared, I like JonTron. Game Grumps can be fun sometimes. Like, I've binged a lot of their stuff, but sometimes things still just get on my nerves. What other channels do I really like? Game Theory can be really fun. Jeremy Johns can be good. I Hate Everything. Your Movie Sucks. I binged that for quite a while. Everything Wrong With, like CinemaSins, you know, that can be fun. So a lot of, some gameplay channels for sure, but a lot of reviews. I tend to like reviews. Yeah. If you could bring back one extinct animal, what would it be? I googled it, and I didn't look too long, but I saw the Tasmanian tiger, I believe it was. And I thought that looked pretty cool. So I'm good for that. However, I'm pretty sure eastern quolls at this point, they're safe, right? They're not endangered anymore? Because I would totally bring those back. Those things are adorable. But yeah, we'll go with Tasmanian tigers. I didn't look too deeply into it, and I didn't, like, give it thought. It's just like, that looks cool. Let's bring it back to life. Do you read comic book and also play Dungeon and Dragon? I don't read comic books. I play Dungeons and Dragons. It's hard to say that actively just because I don't have, like, a friend group with whom I really play. I'm in one campaign, kind of, that's hosted on Facebook. I recently joined a Dragon Age based, which I've never played Dragon Age, but I recently joined a Dragon Age based roleplay with a friend and a few of her friends that she's had going for quite a while now. I did, again, the Pokemon Spectrum tabletop campaign. If you'd like to watch me play a Dungeons and Dragons type game, you know, a tabletop RPG, feel free to go over to Angel Art's channel. You could watch that. Just be aware that I swear, because I get into character a little bit more, and she doesn't care about swearing. So it's hard to say. I've definitely played Dungeons and Dragons. I kind of do a little bit now. I'm certainly not against it. I think Dungeons and Dragons is really fun if you have the right group, if you have the right DM, if you have the right story going. So hopefully that answers your question. Also, charisma is the best stat. I like rogues and bards. What are you getting for Christmas? I got, let's see, I got a box of Pop-Tarts, I got a chocolate orange, which I just remembered I haven't eaten yet. Golly me, I gotta enjoy that later. I got a My Hero Academia set of fingerless gloves, which are cool, and a shirt with Mei Hatsume on it. I'm used to saying Hatsume Mei, so that sounded really weird because I watched the sub, you know, English subtitles. I prefer subtitles. And I got a My Hero Academia jacket. So it was mostly My Hero Academia themed. And I got like a fox mask thing that you like pull over your head, and it's like just the eyes there, and the rest of it is like a fox face. Trying to hope I didn't forget anything else. My brother gifted me a game on Steam. I don't remember what it's called right now. It was a late Christmas present, so like I got it just a couple days ago. I got a set of pajama bottoms. Oh, and my dad gifted me money, which I haven't spent yet because I haven't gone out. Do you have any future plans for the channel, or will it just be business as usual? I mean, I'm pretty sure your question has already been answered. My biggest plan for the channel is that I split it. This is now Riz Reacts, where I'll be posting future reaction videos. Again, I'll be finishing Crystalline on this channel, just so as not to split up that game series. But the rest of my Let's Play videos are now on what's now called Riz Grestar, which if you haven't found that yet, click the link in the description or go to my homepage. It's one of the featured channels. Pretty hard to miss there. But yes, it's also called Riz Grestar, and that's where I'll be posting all my Let's Play stuff. And I did that because I felt like the algorithm was kind of screwing me over with how many people were only here for my reaction videos. When I did a poll, a little over 2/3 of the people who actually answered the poll said that they were just here for reaction videos, or that that was their favorite thing about the channel. And when you look at the numbers between like my reaction videos and my gameplay videos, that really, yeah, it lines up. And the thing is, like, if people are only coming to my channel to watch one video every 3 weeks, that sucks. Like, YouTube has got to look at those numbers and be like, this channel must be awful. And so I'm hoping that in splitting the two, I can gain more traction for my Let's Play videos, which are what I want to do. I want to be a Let's Player. I don't want to be a reactor. I want to be a Let's Player. So that's my hope. That's the biggest step I've ever taken so far, I think. And hopefully it works out for me. What's your favorite thing about being a YouTuber, or just your favorite moment YouTubing? My favorite thing about being a YouTuber is playing, I mean, in particular, playing a game, but this can come with any sort of reaction, you know, whether to a game or to a video, I guess. But it's when I get to share in certain experiences with people. So like if I play a horror game and people like freak out at a scene in the comments with me, if I make a deduction and people are like, wow, I wasn't expecting you to catch that, you know? I don't like so much when people are dicks and they're just like, wow, you're terrible at this game. You know, that's a little bit of a downer because I am self-conscious. But, you know, when people just get to, you know, be a friendly community and enjoy an experience that I'm having, and I get to likewise enjoy in that experience with you guys, the viewers, that's what I really like about this. I like the interaction. You know, I like when people ask like meaningful, relevant questions, or when they share what they enjoyed about this or that, or what they wondered about, etc. Those are the moments that I enjoy the most. Random question, but if you had to choose which one, or random question, but if you have to choose, which would it be? Cake or ice cream? Ultimately, let's see. I feel like I can eat cake more often. I feel like ice cream makes me sicker a little faster. However, I feel like ice cream has more... I was gonna say has more versatility, but I meant by that like variants, like different flavors. But I guess you could get that with cake. That's hard, actually. That's increasingly difficult the more I think about it. I was actually really set on saying ice cream, but now I don't know. I guess for now... Shoot. I guess I will say ice cream, but cake is really good. Favorite Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game of all time? Well, I've only played 2 of them. I played Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team and Explorers of Sky. I never played Super Mystery Dungeon yet, and I don't know if there are other games aside from the ones like that are just the counterparts to the 2 I just mentioned. Like, I know there's Blue Rescue Team, and I know there's like Explorers of Time and Darkness or whatever those were called. And then, like I said, Super Mystery Dungeon. I don't know if there are others past that. I feel like there was another one, but I could be very wrong. Either way, I think out of the 2, it's been a long, long time. But I think for now I'll say Explorers of Sky. I really don't remember the 2 that well, but I'll go with Explorers of Sky. Favorite Shrek movie? It's definitely between 1 and 2. I think I have to say 2. I think by that point, the characters and their voice actors and such, I think they fell better into step with what they were trying to portray. I think they did a better job overall. And without having to introduce so much, they kind of got to focus a little bit more on the story, which from what I remember, was pretty charming. Pun unintended. But Shrek 1 was also really good, and it started it off. I do think that the other Shrek movies are probably terrible. I saw a bit of one of them, but it did not grab my attention at all. I think by that point, they were just kind of milking it for money. But I mean, if people still enjoy it, by all means, you know, more enjoyment for those people. But it's definitely between 1 and 2, and I'm gonna go with 2 for now. Have you ever had any death battle suggestions? Honestly, not really. I know that I suggested Gara versus Toph at the time, but that was more just because, like, my little brother suggested it, and I'm like, yeah, that seems like a good matchup. But as far as anything else goes, like anything that I came up with myself, not really. I think it would be cool to see something from, Boku no Hero. I should probably just... I was going to say Boku no Hero Academia, but I said My Hero Academia earlier when talking about my Christmas present, so I should probably be consistent was what I was going to say. But I like those characters. That's a really good anime that I've recently enjoyed, and has a lot of really good characters that I think could make for good, good characters in Death Battle. I also wouldn't be against seeing Kaneki Ken from Tokyo Ghoul. He was really cool, and that was a nice anime. Particularly the first season. Second season, I still enjoyed, but had a lot of problems, and I haven't watched the third season yet. But, characters from, My Hero Academia and Kaneki Ken, I totally wouldn't mind seeing. I would just hope that the My Hero characters would win. Here's a good question for you. If the producers of Super Mario allows you to come up with your very own character to add to the Super Mario world, how would you design that character? And what name would you give that character? Testing your creativity. Well, I'll have you know that my creativity is not always amazing. And... I'll admit, I didn't take super long with this. I don't think that I'd necessarily want to create, like, a brand new species or anything for Super Mario, like, as a franchise. But my favorite Mario games are the Paper Mario series. And so what I think would be fun is to have, like, a Shy Guy as your companion. Because, in Paper Mario series, you get different species of companions. And you've never had a Shy Guy companion, to my knowledge. I've only played Paper Mario and Thousand Year Door. So, I don't know, maybe in the future you do get one. But a Shy Guy could be cool. I think it would be fun if he were called Wise Guy. And, like, if he had, I don't know, I'm picturing, like, dark blue robes. And he had, like, a little set of glasses or something, And I like the thought that he would serve kind of as the tattle, So, like, what Goombaria did. Goombario. Or, what's her bucket? I don't remember I haven't played Thousand Year Door in a while. I don't remember the Goombella? Was that her name? Was it Goombario and Goombella? Yeah, but they both had tattle, basically, right? I think it'd be fun if Wise Guy had the tattle ability, but also his character was just kind of, a wise guy. Like, he's snarky. Like, I don't know. It's dumb, but it made me chuckle, so I'm going with that. How do you pick what games you want to play? Generally, like, I used to put up a poll on Facebook, and, people would vote, and, then I'd do that game. But it kind of became harder to do, I guess. I felt like I wasn't getting as many responses, and then it kind of felt like when I did those games that people still weren't really watching the series anyway. And especially when people were asking me to play games that I didn't own and, I'm just tight on money. Like, I couldn't, reasonably buy them, especially when I thought that, like, I couldn't guarantee that those videos would make up for the, the money that I spent on the game. So recently it's been more like, do I have the game already, or is it cheap or on sale or available through emulation or something? Do I have interest in the game, and do I think that other people might enjoy seeing me play it? So nothing super concrete, but like recently, like this past year, I've been playing visual novels basically, right? I had Doki Doki Literature Club, and then I had Ace Academy, and then I went straight into Crystalline, and look, it's New Year's Day. Happy New Year's, everyone. Happy 2019. Hopefully it doesn't suck. So I know I'm pretty sure not everyone likes visual novels. And I don't know if I'll like a lot of them. I've really only played Pixel Fate Studio visual novels, but I really enjoyed them. And very grateful for them, or to them, for giving me a key to Crystalline. And just to clarify, Doki Doki is not by Pixel Fate Studio. I suddenly can't remember who actually did make it, and now I feel bad because I know it. Like, I can see it in my head. I can see their logo and everything. I feel bad. But either way, different people. But anyway, point is, like, people too have recently been trying to tell me to play the games that I want to play, do the things that I want to do, and sometimes I don't do a lot of things for myself, and I'm trying to be better about that. I take care of myself, but again, sometimes I think I care too much about what other people think or how other people are feeling. And so now I'm trying to play games that I genuinely want to play, that I have genuine interest in playing. And I know sometimes that does shut out a number of viewers, but hopefully we can find a happy medium at some point. Question, will you change your backdrop and your games? If you mean this backdrop, no, I just barely got this. I spend money on this backdrop. Will I change my games? Yes. If you meant something else by backdrop, like if you mean my outro, like my end card, I am considering changing that. I'm not sure what to yet, but I'm considering changing it, especially because recently, you know, you could like put the little video rectangles on screen, you'd click them and you'd go to that video. For some reason, YouTube hasn't been letting me do that recently. I don't know why, but it's been really annoying. So if you've noticed like the blank side on the left, it's not for lack of trying, but it just won't let me upload, like, do anything there for some reason. I might change the out card though at some point, I'm not sure. And clearly I changed the banner, at least on my new channel, and a little bit on this one just to clarify some things a little bit. But aside from that, no immediate plans. Will you do live streams? I do live stream on occasion, and if you'd like to watch those, go to twitch.tv/riz_Grestar. But I don't have a consistent streaming schedule at this point. Part of that is because I know that my internet isn't exactly reliable. Like every time I stream, people come in and they're like, you know, you're dropping frames, right? And there's just nothing that I can really do about it. I don't think it's anything from my end, like computer-wise. But I think it's just my internet connection is not good enough. And unfortunately, with where I'm staying, I just don't have control over that. Like, I can't shift to a faster speed or anything like that. So I've tried doing what I could with, like, the quality of the streams. You know, like, lowering those a little bit, but to where it would still look good kind of thing. But people report that it still is kind of laggy. So, unfortunately, I can't promise any streaming schedule. But you know, I'm sure that I'll stream again, you know, now and then. So if you're interested, just keep an eye out on my Twitch page. Favorite Dragon Ball character? You know I don't watch Dragon Ball, right? Or Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball Super, or Dragon Ball Kai, or whatever they are. Kai is just like a remake of Z, basically, right? I'm pretty sure that's what people told me. Favorite character? Well, I'll take this time to say that the English voice actor, or the Japanese voice actors, usually I like, you know, English sub better than dub. But the Japanese voice actor for, like, Goku and his family, their screams kind of drive me crazy. Like, they're fine just when they're speaking for the most part, but when they scream, like, when they power up, I just feel like there's no power in that. It's bad, I feel. And for anyone who likes that, more power to you. But that was just my impression after having played Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 for a little bit. I don't know if I have a favorite character. I feel like Vegeta, from what I know of him, could be interesting given his character arc. Because he starts off as an antagonist, but then eventually he becomes a good guy. So if they did it well, that could be an interesting character story. Like, the character development just could be nice. And you know I like character development, so that could be good. I think I've heard the same kind of thing with Piccolo, so maybe that would be interesting. If I were to watch the anime, I assume I'd like Goku pretty well. Hopefully, being the main character, I'd like him pretty well. But just not knowing about the series, I can't pick a favorite. Comics versus anime versus cartoon versus TV shows versus movies versus video games versus sports versus literature. What's your favorite entertainment? Okay, to try to put these in order, and it could vary, of course. And some are definitely closer to each other than others. But I think, in terms of favorite entertainment, because YouTube's not up here, and I'm not going to lump YouTube into any of those, because that's mostly what I use for entertainment, I'll say video games is number one. Anime, TV shows, cartoon, literature, comics, and sports. I don't like sports. Wait, no, I forgot about movies! Okay, video games, movies, anime, TV shows, cartoon, comics, literature, sports. Wait, no. Crap. Video games, movies, anime, TV shows, cartoon, literature, comics, sports. Final answer. So how does it exactly feel when 4% of your fanbase only care about Let's Play, what is the content you make, and your own far more personal experience, while the rest of the fanbase only cares about your reaction, where you literally look at the content someone else created? It sucks really bad, and that's why I created the other channel. What's your ranking of the TF2 characters? Oh, that's difficult. You just mean like in terms of like, in playing them? Okay, in terms of playing them, I think that my favorite currently is Sniper. But, you know, some days I just have terrible sniping days. I don't play it regularly at all anymore. But when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. Sniper is really fun to play when you're on a roll with headshots and everything. Scout and Soldier come next. Heavy and Spy are after that. Then Pyro. Oh no, Medics should be in there. Sniper, Scout Soldier, medic, heavy and spy, pyro. Who am I missing? I know I'm missing. I mean, I know I have Demo Man, but I think he's gonna go at the end because I'm so bad at Demo Man. Aren't there 9 total as a thing? I know there are. What are they? Oh, engineer. Oh, duh, engineer. How did I forget engineer? All right. Engineer goes a little higher. So, sniper, scout soldier, medic. I'll actually put heavy, engineer, spy, demo. Son of a gun, what did I forget this time? Sniper, scout, soldier, medic, heavy, engineer, spy. Demo Man goes at the end, but who goes before Demo Man? Who goes before Demo Man? Oh, did I forget Pyro again? I did, didn't I? Sniper, scout soldier, medic, heavy, engineer, spy, pyro, Demo Man. We got them all, boys and girls and anything in between. I don't judge. Thoughts on the Sonic movie? It doesn't look great. So video game movies tend to be terrible, right? We've all accepted that. And so that just starts it off bad impression kind of thing. But like Detective Pikachu, I actually think that could be good. It actually looks kind of promising. Sonic though, from what little I've seen, and I've only seen like 2 posters of it. There was one where he was basically silhouetted, but you could see like a colored outline, I think. And then one where it showed him like on top, sitting on top of a bridge. You just saw his legs. It just looks weird. Like he looks a little too, I don't know how else you'd make him, but it just looks a little disturbing. It's almost like Sonic was mixed with Thing 1 and Thing 2 or something like that. Like it's just kind of awkward looking. I don't know. Hopefully it would be good. It would be cool to have a good Sonic movie, but I don't have the highest of hopes for it. Do you have a favorite starter from the current 7 generations of Pokemon, not including special starters like Pikachu and Eevee? I don't think I have a favorite, unfortunately. It's between Gen 1 and 3, as in Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. Cyndaquil, I think I'm the happiest with all of his evolutions. Cyndaquil's cute, Quilava's cute and cool, and then Typhlosion is cool without being too monstrous for me. What often happens is the third version, or like stage 2, their second evolution, it tends to be just a little too monstrous for my liking. I think they're just supposed to look like big and bulky and cool, but I just don't like that aesthetic too much. And so Typhlosions, I think it's a fairly good balance. A little more monstrous than I would like. And I know they're pocket monsters. I'm aware of that. But I'm allowed to have my opinions and preferences and stuff. So, Cyndaquil's really good, but like I really like Totodile and Croconaw. And for Alligator, like he does look a little more monstrous, but he's also a crocodile alligator. So it makes sense a little bit more for him. It's a little bit more true to like the animal than some of the others might be. 3rd gen, my favorite like second stage of a starter might be Blaziken, honestly. Like Blaziken is just a really good look, but I don't really like Combusken all that much. Blastoise and Charizard, of course they're good. Another one actually whose line I really don't mind, along the same lines of Cyndaquil, is actually Squirtle's. Because I really like Squirtle. I think Squirtle's cute. I think Wartortle again is cool and cute. And then Blastoise, yeah, he's not like he's bulky, but he's a turtle or tortoise. So he's supposed to be. I guess I'll say that Squirtle is my favorite starter. Do you have jobs other than YouTube? No, I currently volunteer at the same place I had an internship, but as far as a paying job, not at the moment. What is your opinion on the ponies of Rarity and Fluttershy? I like them. They're not my favorites of the main 6, but I do like them. I liked Rarity a lot more than I thought I would initially, because like you kind of, I know that she's like, generosity and all that. But I guess I kind of was just expecting more stereotypes. Sometimes, of course, she can get a little bit annoying, but I know she has a real good heart, and it's nice when you get to see those moments. And Fluttershy, she's just cute. She's shy and is just an endearing quality. But then it's kind of fun too, yeah, when she has her little outbursts or whatnot. And we got to kind of play with that a little bit in a lot of the episodes revolving around her. So while they're not my favorite ponies, I do definitely like them. And Well, I guess that's all I have to say at the moment. Which character do you feel Death Battle has taught you the most about? That's hard to say just because I'm a very forgetful person. You've seen me in, react to Death Battles where there was like a repeat character, and I have forgotten a lot about whatever they told me about. So, did they really teach me if I forget immediately? Kind of hard to say. But most of the characters I really don't know a lot, if anything, about, so quantifying that would just be difficult. Maybe the character that I knew, like that I already knew that I learned the most about. Maybe that would be like Tails? Because I really have never engaged in the Sonic comics. A little bit, like I'd go to Hastings, with just a store. And they had Sonic comics, and now and then I'd get to read one. But, I never got into them, like, big at all. I couldn't afford any, and I didn't get to go often enough to actually read stuff. But, maybe I learned the most about him, just of characters that I already knew about. Because if I didn't know about the characters, there's so much to learn. So it really is hard to say. Do you watch any horror movies? And if you have, which one? I don't really watch horror movies. I'm a big-time chicken. If you've seen me play horror games, you probably already knew that. But I am super jumpy. I get tense really easily. And I don't really like being scared, necessarily. Talking about those experiences afterward can be fun, and that's why I've played horror games on my channel, because I get to share in those experiences with you guys, and it's fun for me, and I hope it's fun for you. But yeah, horror movies I just don't really do. Especially because in them, I feel you can get a lot more gory and graphic and real. And yeah, I don't know. It's not really my thing. When I do watch horror movies, they tend to be like really dumb or old, or cheesy kind of thing. Like I've seen Sharknado. Like, I think all of them that are out so far, because they're just so dumb. So I watch them with my brother and we laugh at them. And I actually I bought a collection of they're not necessarily horror movies, but most of them are. But it was like 12 movies about creatures or whatever. I don't remember what the set was called, but just one of those collection sets, right? A lot of them are really old movies, and the plots are just so dumb, and the monsters are terrible, both in terms of looks and just execution, I think. Like, even for the time, oftentimes. A few horror movies I actually have seen. I've seen Scream 2. I've seen, I think it's The Woman in Black. I think that's what it was, with Daniel Radcliffe. Is that, the one I'm thinking about, at least, maybe. I've seen Poltergeist. I have seen... I feel like I've seen more than just 3 horror movies, But it's definitely been a while. And I really just don't watch horror movies. They're not my thing. I feel like I've still seen more than 3. But it's not really crossing my mind right now, so unfortunately, I think that's what I have to leave you with. Do you plan on playing any RPGs? I wouldn't say I plan to, but I wouldn't say it's not possible for the future either. The issue with RPGs is just that they tend to be really long, and not that I'd necessarily be against playing it for that reason, but just because of how I have to upload videos, And if I'm uploading a video that just lasts, like, hours upon hours, then that means that the series itself is lasting, like, months. And so, it's just a matter of, do I really want to tie myself to this game for this long? Because maybe not everyone's into that game, and so who knows how many people it would, shut out from my channel. And I know that I've played long games in the past, but that doesn't mean that I haven't had the same concerns with those series. So that's why I'm not saying no about RPGs, but I just can't make any promises. So am I planning on playing any? No. So can we get a bonus episode where you defeat Mewtwo? And this is in response to my Pokemon Blue No Capture challenge. And Nathan, just for you, watch this. What are your favorite colors? Green and blue. What are the future movies you look forward to? I'm not a super big moviegoer. I mean, I enjoy movies. But I just don't tend to go out too much. And looking forward to things in general, I don't know. I haven't done that in a while. To a big extent, at least. I am looking forward to seeing Avengers Endgame, I believe someone said it was called. I still need to see Black Panther, honestly. I might just do that on Netflix, tonight or something like that. I am looking forward to Detective Pikachu. I believe that's what they're actually calling the movie. In general, I tend to look forward to the superhero movies. but not so much DC, because they're not amazing, in my opinion. I don't know, like, I didn't love Suicide Squad. It was just kind of disappointing overall. I've heard bad things about Justice League. I've heard pretty bad things about Aquaman. I don't know. But superhero movies in general I look forward to. Like I said, Detective Pikachu, Avengers Endgame, stuff like that. What do you usually on your pizza? I usually pepperoni, but I generally just like meat stuff, so yeah. If you'd win the lottery, what would you do with some of the cash prize? It depends, of course, on how big the cash prize is. But if it were big enough to be substantial, I'd want to put it into like a savings account or something, and I might diversify stuff. I don't know, I'd have to do research, but my hope would be to increase that money over time with interest. Because what I would love to do one day is just live off of interest, you know, where I wouldn't have to work, where I wouldn't have to do this or that, where I could, you know, help support family if they needed me to. But that, you know, I could just have that chunk in there and just kind of live off of what would residually come. That would be amazing. If not, or aside from that at least, you know, I'd like to help my parents pay off some debts. I thankfully have remained debt-free myself. I'd like to actually purchase a home so I can live without having to worry about rent or, you know, this or that. Obviously there'd still be things I'd have to pay for, but, you know. But ultimately, the big thing would be, yeah, like, I'd love to live off of interest. Like in the comics, do you believe there's a chance DC Comics and Marvel will do a crossover in an animated movie? I mean, I certainly think it's possible. Copyright and that kind of thing can always be hard between companies, but if they've already done crossovers between, like, you know, in the comics, I could see them doing it in a movie. Yeah, in an animated movie is where I think it would be much more likely. I don't think that, you know, Marvel Cinematic Universe would want to budge to let in DC's Cinematic Universe, because let's face it, Marvel has done a much better job. Like DC, they didn't deserve a Justice League movie. Marvel worked hard. They worked a long time for the Avengers movie. DC, they were just trying to catch up, and I think they failed. But is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. What was your favorite Death Battle episode of this season? Oh gosh, now I have to remember what this season was, you know? My favorite death battle of this season. I don't know if I have a favorite. Let's talk about some good ones that come to mind. I think Smokey, right? Smokey versus Scruff. That was a good one. Or just McGruff. Scruff McGruff is his nephew, right? People clarified that. That was a fun one, and it was where they, you know, they branched out with the animation, and I thought that worked really well. Thanos versus Darkseid actually was really good in my opinion. I really liked the animation for it. I didn't have really that... I don't remember having complaints about it. So that one was really good. I really liked the animation for... friggin... Now I can't remember either of their names. It's the one from Elfen Lied. And, how do I forget his name? I'm picturing him. He's red. He looks like he's dripping blood, because he might be. I think he was, right? How do I not remember? Carnage! Finally. That one had a really good animation, I thought. And for 2D, which surprised me, because just typically I like 3D animations more. In general, I want to say there were a lot of good ones. But as far as which ones were this season, I'm totally getting jumbled in my head. Like, maybe these weren't in this season. But those were some good ones. I saw you posted another SAO, well, SOA, but yeah, SAO, reaction video and then pulled it. Did you get copyright claimed? Not just copyright claimed, I got a copyright strike. In fact, I got 2 copyright strikes at the same time from the same company on the same video in the same time. Like, one of them selected, I think, like 20 seconds. And then the other claim selected, like, 50 seconds, but the same 20 seconds were included. It was really dumb. I didn't think that people could do that, but yeah, that one video gave me 2 copyright strikes, so that really sucks. But while we're on this topic, I do want to address YouTube for a moment. YouTube, get your crap together. Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your crap, so it's together. And if you gotta take it somewhere, you know? Take it to the crap store and sell it, or put it in a crap museum. I don't care what you do, you just gotta get it together. Get your crap together. But on a serious note, it really is a dick move when you let them claim or strike without any proof, or very little proof, but then you won't even send my appeal to the people who struck me. Dick move. Do you plan on continuing the Ruby reaction without the video like you had been? P.S. They have moved all new episodes off YouTube, but you can watch them for free on their app. I don't know. So, here's the thing. I got really frustrated with Rooster Teeth when, like, they finally allowed reaction videos, you know? After all this pestering and all of my playing safe and everything, they finally allowed reaction videos. And people had been doing reaction videos for a long time, but I was just waiting for permission, right? But then once they gave permission, they still, like, claimed or struck my videos. And that ticked me off. And so I kind of just stopped. And there were some other factors involved, but that was a big part of it. I don't like Rooster Teeth, alright? I don't like Rooster Teeth, I don't like Screw Attack, I don't like Full Screen. I think overall they're just kind of... They just seem douchey, you know? Like, I'm sure that good people work there. I've just been rubbed wrong by a number of people, and a lot of people from fandoms and stuff of them. And so, I don't know, and that just really upset me when they did that. Maybe it was a mistake, maybe it was, I don't know. But it's not necessarily that I would be against reacting to RWBY, although I did hear that it became worse from reputable sources. I know other people have told me that it got better, but I trust the sources I heard it got worse from more than I trust the sources I heard that it got better. No offense. I just don't know you guys that well. But especially if they moved it to their app, I don't know. Because I don't know even how I would do that on my channel anymore. I don't know how I just don't know. If you guys would like to see more RWBY reactions, please do let me know. You know, you guys letting me know what you're interested in, that does factor into things. You know, that does affect what I decide to do. But I guess I can't guarantee that I'll react to RWBY. But if you guys really want to see it, please let me know. I know you had a cat, but are there any pets, exotic or not, that you would love to own? I don't think that I would, just because of the extra responsibility and stuff. But if I had to pick an exotic pet, I'd totally pick a fox, especially an Arctic fox, I think. But the climate might not be great for him where I'm living, or her. Could be a girl fox, I don't care. But foxes are great, and I love them, so that'd be cute. What is your favorite game genre? If you have a favorite one, that is. I think my favorite one would overall be RPGs. Even though I haven't, you know, played a terrible ton of them. You know, if we're looking at games like Pokemon, you know, I like when you have a certain amount of freedom, where you can build the character the way that you want, where, you know, like certain actions might have certain consequences, that kind of thing. So I'll say RPGs. Those are good games. What video game consoles do you own? I myself currently own, or like have in my possession here, I have a Nintendo Switch, I have a Nintendo DS, I have a Game Boy Advance SP, and that's it right here. At my family's house, I have a PlayStation 2. I have access to an Xbox One. I have access to a Wii U and a Wii and a GameCube and a Nintendo Entertainment System and a Super Nintendo Entertainment System. I don't know where my 3DSs are, unfortunately. I had a personal 3DS and I had a recording 3DS, which you might remember has kind of started dying a little bit on me. But in the move, like, I can't find them now, so it's really unfortunate. But I think I listed most of the consoles that I have, so there you go. Is there any movie that disappointed you? Absolutely, plenty of movies have disappointed me. Again, Suicide Squad was disappointing. Not that I was, like, hyped for it, but it was certainly disappointing. Legend with, like, Tom Cruise. That was terribly disappointing. I hated that movie. That was awful. I was so bored during it. You know, a lot of just the old crappy movies that I've seen. Those were disappointing. Like, I tried to watch an old Jackie Chan movie, you know? It was disappointing. Maybe it would have been better if I actually stuck with it. I quit pretty early on, because I was disappointed, like, immediately, you know? Other movies that were disappointing. I mean, things like, again, how in Avengers, or just the Marvel Cinematic Universe in general, you know, Loki didn't die and they ruined all his character development. That was certainly disappointing. Was the movie itself as a whole disappointing? I don't know if I'd say that, but, like, those little tidbits were. But, yeah, definitely movies that disappoint me. Like, I feel like I'm pretty easy to please overall, but, I mean, a lot of that, you could still enjoy something and be disappointed by it. Right? You totally can. Favorite superhero film? I'm gonna say The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Maybe The Amazing Spider-Man 1. Here's the thing. I know a lot of people hate those movies, especially Amazing Spider-Man 2, I'm pretty sure. But I really liked the little romance they had, honestly. I do think there were some stupid parts, but I thought it was really cute, and I thought it, you know, worked well with the characters. I thought they portrayed them really well. I think that they No, like the Sony who made the movie. I think they did make some mistakes, especially with the bad guys, Green Goblin and Rhino in particular. They just didn't do those that well, and that would be disappointing moments in a movie that I liked, what we just talked about, kind of thing. And so I guess overall, probably Amazing Spider-Man 1 is my favorite superhero film. That's what I'll go with. Though Guardians of the Galaxy was also really good. There are a lot of good superhero films. Logan was really good. Gosh dang it. Do I have a favorite? Okay, probably Amazing Spider-Man 1 still, just because that's the one that I'd want to watch with people, you know? I mean, not to say it, I like them, okay? Whatever. Is there anything that you dislike while everyone else likes it? Sometimes it's not so much a matter of disliking, but I guess just not liking? I don't know, like, I didn't care for, what's it called? Pulp Fiction. I didn't care for Pulp Fiction. Everyone seems to. They call it a classic and everything, right? Some people have told me that I need to watch it a second time before I really get it, and maybe that's the case, but I haven't tried. But I just watched it and I didn't really understand it. Other things that I dislike that everyone else likes. Oh, I mentioned earlier in this Q&A that my favorite subject in school is English. And unfortunately, especially in college, you have to read like a lot of classic literature. I just don't care for that. I don't care for all the flowery stuff and all the stupid like metaphors and all the metaphors and symbolism. They're cool, they're fine, they work really well in certain stories, but like I feel like a lot of people look way too deeply into it, or they dismiss stories if they're not all fanciful, or if they don't contain a super deep meaning. And I think that stories don't need that. They certainly shouldn't. And so I definitely dislike a lot of the classic stories, and the attitude for sure. The elitism that's behind so much of that is garbage. I hate it. Anything else I dislike? Well, everyone else likes it. I've never played it, but I dislike Fortnite. I don't know if people must actually like that, right? Like, it's not just a meme. I honestly, I don't know anything about it really, but just the fact that it pops up so much, it's so annoying. So I dislike that, just on that ground. I dislike a number of fandoms, but who doesn't? Like, for a while, I kind of disliked Undertale, because I didn't see what was so great about the game. I still don't see what's amazing about the game. I don't understand, like, why people are so hyped about it, like, as hyped as they are, but it is a good game, I'll say. It's just the fandom, I think, that really turned me off. Life is Strange, that was another game that people thought was amazing, and I thought it was fine. Like, there was so much wrong with it, so much that was so stupid about it, but I think that people... I don't know. I want to say people liked it because they thought it was artsy, but I just don't care for that too much. So while it was a fine game, there were a lot of problems with it. At least a lot of problems that I had with it. So there's a list of some things for you. When did you start your channel? I want to say December 2012. If I'm to be even more daring, I want to say around December 27th or 28th, 2012. But I genuinely don't know. It was quite a while ago. Okay, well, actually, when I say maybe it's December, maybe it was earlier? I don't know. When I say that, that's when I started, like, uploading videos onto my channel, for the purpose of having a channel. I made my channel, like, back in 2007, but that was for the sake of, like, favoriting videos and stuff, because you used to favorite videos, and, like, rate it 5 stars. But as far as, like, when I started producing content for the channel, I think that was, yeah, back 2012, December. Which game series do you enjoy the most and why, naturally? Otherwise, it's just a list. Okay, so actually, if you didn't include that last part, I would have thought you just meant, like, what's my favorite game series? Like, one. So, glad you clarified. So, game series. Pokemon is really good. I don't know, it's just fun, and I like the versatility with it. Especially recently, I started speedrunning Pokemon Red. I did, like, a no capture challenge. I did another challenge that I don't think I've definitely not uploaded yet. I forget, this video is going up tomorrow. There's definitely not time to upload something in between then. I did a Magikarp solo run. Like, there's a lot of replayability to the Pokemon games, which I think is really cool. Especially if you go out and you, like, pick up, randomizers or things like that. Or if you just try to be, like, gimmicky or whatever. A lot of fun can come from it. And it's just a good game in general. I feel like they've gotten worse over time. I think the first 3 generations are the best generations. But... yeah, I'm gonna say that's my favorite series right now. Video game series is Pokemon, just overall, but first gen in particular, and then Gen 3, and then Gen 2. Star Fox is another series that I really enjoyed. I really appreciate the characters. I did like the gameplay of Star Fox 64, but I also really liked the gameplay of Star Fox Adventures, and I liked Star Fox Assault. You know, there are bits that I would complain about with every game, with all of those games, but I really liked all of them too. And it got me introduced largely to anthropomorphic characters, which I've come to really enjoy in terms of like art and role playing. So I appreciate it for that. Legend of Zelda is another really good video game series. I haven't played a lot of the titles I know, but you know, the ones that I have played I really enjoyed, and I think it's one of those games that I consider to be epic. Fire Emblem, I played the first two games, and those are really fun. I think it's a really good strategy game. It's one that I really enjoyed. It has a good story. It has fun characters. It has an interesting, like, kind of combat system, and, you know, the mechanics in it. Those are good. And, oh, Paper Mario, for sure. Love those games. Love those games. Paper Mario is awesome. You know, the RPG element is nice. It is nice. The stories are nice. I think it's really fun that they have a variety of characters, you know, with both in-battle abilities and overworld abilities. I thought that was really cool. Yeah. All right, I'll leave it at that. I don't know if you've said anything about it, but last I checked, the last video did specifically on MLP was about your thoughts on the season 4 finale. So have you watched the show since then, or did you stop watching? If you have time and want to give it a try, I think the season 5 would be the one to hook you again, but it's okay if you've moved on. I think I've seen like half of season 5. I think I've seen about half of season 5. So part of my issue with having fallen off of the MLP bandwagon, I still consider myself a brony, but, you know, I'm sure most people wouldn't, but whatever. I mean, I think that people can choose to call themselves bronies if they want to or not, and I still claim to like the show and the characters. I just haven't seen it in a long time. But I also claim to like Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and I haven't played it for literal years, you know, years before even it came out on 3DS, and I don't remember if I ever actually beat it myself. But I still claim to love it. So, yeah, like I said, I think I started watching season 5. But my issue was I waited to watch, like, all of season 4 until I could watch it with a friend. And so, you know, I wasn't involved in any of the community during all of season 4. And then for season 5, like, after I uploaded my thoughts on video, I believe, started recording reactions to, you know, to season 5. Where I was thinking I could probably do the same kind of thing as I did with Ruby and just do timestamps and stuff, but there wasn't as reliable a video to use as far as, like, you know, to match up times and everything. And I was afraid of copyright and stuff and just, you know, figuring people wouldn't like it. But in that, I wasn't watching the videos, like the episodes, as freely because I was trying to do it, quote unquote, just in case, as a series potentially, you know? And so then, like, I felt like I couldn't watch it in my own time. Like, I had to be, you know, like, all dressed up and with the lights on and, you know, everything going. I had to be in a good mood so that I could, like, be talking and everything through it. And so I think part of that just killed the drive a little bit. That, and again, the fact that I was just so distanced from the community by that point. Not that I'm a very social person, so I wasn't too heavily involved anyway, but still. You know, you could at least see art as the, you know, relevant episodes come out. So, one of those things, I feel like I didn't lose interest necessarily. I still like the show and all that, but yeah, it's just been a long time. Could I ever get back into it? Yeah, maybe someday. But I don't plan, for the record, I don't plan on uploading those reactions or anything. I don't even know where they are at some point, on some other external hard drive that I'm not using anymore. But I have no, you know, no guarantees that I'll get back into it. Good show, but I just might not start again. We'll see. Would you consider making your thought on video a regular series on your channel? It would be cool to see what you think about current shows or movies. Alright, so first thing, you guys need to tell me when you like things like that. I didn't think anyone really cared about those Let's Talk videos. I was like ready to keep making Let's Talk videos, but people just didn't seem to care, so I stopped, you know? Because it's like, why bother putting forth that extra effort if it doesn't amount to anything? That was my basic thing. So, you guys gotta let me know when you like something. Two, though. I really don't keep up with shows or movies. I just really don't. Like, maybe if I had more motivation to, I could do it more often. Like, maybe if I really thought people would be interested and that it would be meaningful on my channel, maybe I could. But it didn't seem that way, and just the fact that I don't really usually engage myself in movies or TV shows, I don't know. I don't mind sharing my thoughts on things, but yeah, just those complications. Is there any video game movie or video game slash movie slash show that you're really looking forward to in 2019? And what new announcement would make you jump out of seat with hype? I guess the movie that I'm most looking forward to in 2019 would be Avengers Endgame. And I think Detective Pikachu second, if that is coming out in 2019. But I really don't know about any other movies that are coming out. If they're gonna have a Captain Marvel movie, is it Captain Marvel or is it Ms. Marvel? If they're gonna have a Marvel movie, that could be cool too. Because I think that's gonna happen before Endgame, just because that's what the after credits trailer like hinted at, or after credits scene. And so it would make sense for them to give her backstory before showing her in the movie, but they certainly don't have to. They didn't with, like, you know, Spider-Man. As far as video games or shows, though, I'm not keeping up with things, so no, not there. What announcement would make you jump out of seat with hype? If I won a boatload of money! I assume you're meaning in terms of video game movie show, and I honestly don't know. Like, I don't know, I'm not super hyped about a lot of things. Like, I don't care about E3 because nothing there ever really interests me, you know? Which, it seems weird, I know, as a Let's Player to be like, yeah, I don't care about new video game. I just don't really, oftentimes. So, I can't think of one of those kind of relevant things that would get me super hyped. I mean, probably the closest thing would be if there was going to be a movie about something that I really liked, but then I'd also be really scared. I mean, and that kind of falls into the same line of, like, Detective Pikachu. That could be awful, but hopefully it won't be. I don't know. Would you ever play a walkthrough of Pokemon X or Y? I mean, I've already beaten that game, but it would be one of those things where I can't say I would be entirely opposed to it. Like I said, Pokemon games are one of my favorite games. And so if people actually wanted to see me play Pokemon X or Y, even though I've played it before, like, I wouldn't necessarily be opposed. The issue is that it would take a long time on my channel just because Pokemon's a long game in general. And I, again, currently don't have the means of recording a 3DS game. So, complications aside, though, if people actually really wanted to see one of those, even with the knowledge of it, you know, that it wouldn't be blind for me, I wouldn't be against it necessarily. As of now, what is your most wanted death battle? Again, I don't really have a most wanted death battle, but I would say, as far as characters go, I wouldn't mind seeing Kaneki Ken from Tokyo Ghoul, or, not versus, but just him, and then other people from, like, My Hero Academia. Like Deku, that'd be awesome. Bakugo, sure. You know, just a number of characters would be really neat to see. Have you ever thought about doing a Let's Play with Dart? Maybe a multiplayer game? Yeah, I mean, plenty of times. And we have done a number of games together on my channel. If you check, I think I have a playlist of just called Games with Dart or something like that. But the issue is, like, one, again, he lives many states away from me. And we live in different time zones and all that. And he's just busy with a lot of stuff. Or if he's not busy, oftentimes he's just not in the mood for things. And so finding a game that we both enjoy, finding a time that would be, like, reliable, that would be consistent or whatever, even just those little moments where we could, like, get together, I don't know, it would be hard. We've certainly discussed some things, but a lot of stuff just hasn't, you know, happened. So have I ever thought about it? Absolutely, but I don't know when one will happen again. What's your favorite movie of all time? I'm gonna go with Zootopia. I know that I say I have a hard time picking favorites, and that's still true with this, but Zootopia is such a sweet movie. It's such a fun movie. I love the art style. I love the fact that they're animals. I like anthropomorphic animals. And it was just really well done. There was a lot of good chemistry between the characters, a lot of interesting insight, and the ways that they actually, like, you know, aesthetically made everything. It was a good movie. It had a good message, and I liked it. And it made me cry. What's your favorite TV show of all time? Oh, bloody heck. Of all time. Again, that gets really difficult to say. Because I've enjoyed things like The Simpsons and The Mentalist and Castle. I mean, I would count cartoons as TV shows, and so I've enjoyed things like Adventure Time and you know, I'm gonna SpongeBob. SpongeBob's my favorite TV show of all time. Done. Though I am clarifying, I'm not going to count anime in that, because I think they're too different. What did you think you would be before you were a small YouTuber? Again, that's really hard to say. I really wasn't sure what I was going to do with my life. I hadn't found my passion yet, and I still don't know if I have, to be perfectly honest. Passion is just such a weird thing for me, and I'm so envious of people who know what they want to do, or who have, especially for a long time, and those with like talents, or who were like willing and able to work hard enough to improve their skills. I'm just so jealous of people like that. It's awesome, good for them. I wanted to be an author, and I still do want to be an author, but it's hard. It's really hard. Self-consciousness, again, really doesn't help in that, like, feedback is important, but it's really hard to take. And, you know, I'm all right, but I'm not the best, of course. And just the fact, again, like I talked about this with my favorite subject being English, and how I just have such a different opinion on a lot of literature than other people, and just the fact that I have such a hard time sitting down and reading books, even if I like a book. Like, I have a book that I was really enjoying. I'm like halfway through it at this point, and I started it like 2 years ago, and I just haven't read it in the longest time, you know? But yeah, I'd say the biggest thing I wanted to be before starting YouTube was an author. I wanted to write mid-grade to like young adult fantasy novels. Will you ever change your Let's Play thumbnails on a video-to-video basis so I can actually tell when a new one comes out, don't get swamped by numbers, get an idea for what fun thing will happen, or just be more interested in watching said video? First off, ouch. Second, maybe. I am curious about trying some new things. It's obviously more work, but part of my issue with that is that there aren't exciting things that happen in every episode. But that's not to say that you can just skip those episodes. Like, even if nothing exciting happens, or at least nothing visually exciting, you still need them to progress the story in some cases. And then on top of that, like, how do I post something significant that isn't a spoiler? Does that matter? I'm sure it would to some people. I know it does sometimes to me when I'm watching other people play videos, or play games. And I will say, I hate the thumbnails, like a lot of the thumbnails that people like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie make. Like, they can get away with just making anything. It can look like garbage and it's fine, and maybe they don't make their own thumbnails, in which case I'm sorry to the artist. I mean, if they do make the thumbnails, I'm sorry if you put a lot of work into it, I'm just bashing it right now. But I hate how misleading things can be. Like, they'll show a picture of their face, like, shocked, staring at a boot, and then the title of the video will be like, "Oh my gosh!" exclamation points. And I hate that. That has nothing, that doesn't tell me anything! So I hate that. I just don't like it. You know, when it's just like randomly Photoshop stuff that has little to no connection, I hate that so much. I guess it's a peeve. But could I potentially do things differently with my thumbnails? I could potentially. If you look at what I uploaded yesterday on either channel, I uploaded Mega Man 2 Part 1. And I did do a different thumbnail. I had a background of the level that I had the most difficulty with, and I had the sprites of the 3 bosses that I fought in that video. And if people like that kind of thing, I could try to do more like it. But aside from that, it's really hard to say. Also, I have to worry about maturity. Like, if the most significant thing or most eye-catching thing that happens in that video is mature, whether for sexual reasons or like graphic gore reasons, do I do that? Do I include that? Like, I don't want to be too clickbaity. Obviously, I want the thumbnail to be appealing in some way, or at least representative in some way of what the video is, but I'm afraid of spoiling things. I'm afraid of being too clickbaity. I'm afraid of offending someone, you know, in terms of maturity or whatnot, because I want people to be responsible when they watch my videos, because I don't want to shut out a demographic. Like, I want young people to be able to watch my videos too, and be reasonably okay, you know? Obviously, I'll say dick and stuff sometimes, but, you know, like, I play some really family-friendly games, and then I play some not-so-family-friendly games. And when I play those not-so-family-friendly games, I expect people to take responsibility into their own hands. And if they're too young, or just immature in general, if they're not ready to watch that video or that series for whatever reason, I expect them to be responsible and not watch it. But if I include something that could potentially be mature or offensive in some way in the thumbnail, then even if they were going to avoid that video, I've already kind of shoved it in their face. So there's a lot to consider, in my opinion at least, when making thumbnails. And so, I don't know, I just feel like it's not as easy as you're implying. What's your favorite book of all time? Wait, do you read books? I included these like together because they're very related. Do I read books? Not really. I don't really read books. I like books, but I don't read books. It's dumb, I know. I actually get really excited about, like, book sales. Like if a university has a book sale, or a library has a book sale, or like if there's like a book section at a garage or yard sale, like those are cool, they excite me. But I don't really read books, so I know it's dumb. Like I just buy stuff and then I never read them, and they sit on the shelf for forever. But favorite book of all time, I'm not gonna pick a single one. The Warrior series I really enjoyed growing up. I remember enjoying the Aragon series, though I don't think I ever read Brissinger. I think I only read Aragon and Eldest, but I enjoyed those. Even if Eldest got a little bit, what's it called? Mary Suey, you know, with Aragon there. The book that I mentioned that I was about halfway through that I really enjoyed, but that I haven't read for 2 years, I think it's about 2 years, is Mistborn. That was a really good fantasy book. If you're interested, I'd recommend that. I believe the author was Brandon Sanderson, but that was really good. Hopefully I'm getting that right. Hopefully I'm not mixing stuff up. I might be mixing people up. Hopefully not. Either way, though, if you look up Mistborn, I'm sure you'll find it. But it was a really good book, and it's part of a series. Like one contained series, but then like I think a lot of his different series are within the same universe, so that's cool. Hunger Games was a good series. Any other books that I particularly enjoyed? I don't know. I mean, Harry Potter was a good series. Yeah, I don't have a favorite book, but there's a list of some books that I've enjoyed. Animorphs. I have to include Animorphs. I read a lot of Animorphs too, so I can't leave that out. It was a good series. Never finished it. And a lot of like the spin-off books, there we go. Those were kind of weird. Like The Elemist, I remember starting to read that and it was just very bizarre, so I think I stopped. But Animorphs as a series was good. Who do you prefer as Spidey's arch nemesis, Green Goblin or Venom? I think I prefer Green Goblin. Now, Venom is really cool because, well, Venom himself is cool, but then it's cool too because he's kind of the antithesis of Spider-Man. You know, he has a lot of the same powers, but like such different kind of morals and stuff. But also, Venom is like an anti-hero, or he becomes an anti-hero, so he's not always a villain, so it's kind of weird to call him Spidey's arch nemesis. I do get that oftentimes he is, but in that case, you know. So I'm gonna go with Green Goblin, which I really only know from the the Sam Raimi movies, if I'm remembering the name correctly, or movie rather. But I liked it. You know, it was cheesy, but it was in good fun. I think that, you know, the way that it tied to Peter's own backstory, at least in the way the movie portrayed it, I thought that it worked well and it was meaningful for the characters. The Green Goblin himself, his origin, like it made sense enough as it was portrayed. Like slightly convoluted maybe, but I could see under that kind of pressure. And like, while Venom, you know, he has like that darkness to him, Green Goblin has like an interesting sort of craziness to it. You know, again, at least as far as that movie portrayed, like he was a little bit maniacal, and it was fun to see. Have you ever made your own Fakemon, i.e. fake Pokemon? If so, what was it? Yeah, I made a few at one point in time. I don't remember exactly the reason. There was a Facebook group, and I think they were making their own at the time. I don't think it ever became anything, but I think they were making their own like ROM hack for a Pokemon game. And they were like, submit your ideas for Fakemon, and so I submitted a few, just because like, yeah, I thought it'd be fun. Pretty sure my younger brother encouraged it. So I made like a starter, and it was a Firefox, surprise. And I made it a little ghost. I remember the ghost in particular, I named him Animina, because it was like a mix of animated and, you know, like miniature. But also Animina as a palindrome, it could be read forward and backwards the same way, so I thought that was clever. And it had like branching evolutions, I remember. So that was fun. What is your favorite holiday-themed movie? Not necessarily just Christmas movies, but movies that take place around Christmas. I think my favorite movie is, or favorite like holiday movie or Christmas movie is Elf. I think that Jim Carrey's Grinch Who Stole Christmas is probably second. I saw Die Hard for the first time this year, and I'll count it as a Christmas movie, and I think it was fun. So those will be my top 3 for now. If you would be sent back in time 2 years, what advice would you give your past self? Probably to start over. With, you know, specifically with my channel. Again, it's the thing that I just, you know, initiated today, basically, with starting a new channel, or I guess yesterday or 2 days ago even, given when this video actually comes out. But I've known for a long time that, most people were just on my channel for reaction videos. But I was still just trying to push through. Like, I didn't want to give up what I'd built up. But ultimately, right now, I think it's for the best. Like, obviously, that's why I went through with the decision. And hopefully I'm right. Hopefully it doesn't bite me. But I'd say, yeah, to start over a little bit. Yeah. Aside from that, I don't know. Have I learned a lot in these past 2 years? Like, have I really? I don't think I have. What was your favorite death battle overall? Okay, this one, yeah, I think I have to go with Tracer versus Scout. Because, like, I liked the analyses, even if I disagreed with a lot of things in it, along with the conclusion. As in, like, I liked the conclusion, even if I disagreed with some things in it. I liked the battle, even if I think that, yeah, I can sympathize with the people who disliked how Scout was portrayed. I was fine with it, but I totally understand. And because I knew both of the characters, I was passionate enough about both of the characters. I felt I knew enough about both of them, that I was, like, passionate enough to do a little bit more research on the two of them and come up with my own prediction video and, like, kind of reasoning through it. So just with, not the encouragement, but the inspiration, I guess, it gave me, and the stuff that I did for it, and the outcome, both mine and death battles, I think I have to say Tracer versus Scout. Who do you main in Smash? I typically main Fox in everything. I haven't really played the new Smash. I've played like 3 rounds, but I think I'd probably still main Fox there. And in the 3DS Smash, I mained Fox and Shulk. Are you going to watch the newest Sonic movie in 2019? Probably. I might have to wait until it comes out, not in theaters, somewhere I could find it, hopefully online. Like Netflix, that'd be awesome, but it probably won't go on Netflix. But I just typically don't have people to go see movies with, and I don't necessarily like going alone. Part of that because I just hate driving. But would I like to see it when it comes out? Yes. If nothing else, just to confirm that it's bad. I hope it's good, but it's probably going to be bad. What is your favorite Mario and Sonic games and cutscene? Wait, what is your favorite Mario and Sonic games and cutscenes is your favorite? My favorite Sonic game is Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and my favorite Mario game is Paper Mario and Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I realize those are 2 games, but whatever. Favorite cutscenes. In Paper Mario, the Koopas were cool. What were they called? They're like the Power Rangers, or the Ninja Turtles, but they're Koopas. I really don't remember what they were called, but they were fun. They were fun. Another fun scene in Paper Mario, the first one, was when you're in like the ice fortress and suddenly like, all of these, well, all the illusion cutscenes actually, those were just amusing. There were like 3 of them, I want to say, and they were fun. Other cutscenes, I don't know. I'll leave it at that then. Do you know character channels on YouTube? I'm aware that they exist. I don't know any personally. Do you know Mighty Number 9? If so, can you play it? I know of it. I heard it was garbage. I have no real desire to play it, because especially considering I'd have to purchase it first, but then just commit the time on my channel to it. And right now I'm playing through the Mega Man games, like the classic Mega Man games. I'm pretty sure those are better than Mighty Number 9. So will I ever play it? Maybe, but I have no plans to. Will you ever animate? I'd love to if I could, but I am not a good enough artist. Like, I have a hard enough time drawing a single frame, let alone all that it would take to actually animate. I think that would be amazing. Being an animator is actually one of the things that I wanted to do when I was younger, but then I just didn't feel I had the aptitude for it. So I kind of quit on that. I just got... I got too disappointed with my drawing, or just like my drawings in general, that I sort of quit drawing altogether. Which is not great, but I just get upset. I just get like depressed with myself every time. So will I ever animate? I don't know, but probably not, just because I don't think I can. If you had to choose 2 powers, one from Marvel and one from DC that you know of, what would you choose and what would you use these powers for? Alright, so you specified that I know of, so I didn't look any up, and that means that my choices are fairly limited. I think one of the best powers I know from Marvel that I would want would be... Oh, gosh, actually, there are a lot when you consider mutants. There could be a lot of powers there. I mean, it'd probably be good to have, like, a healing factor of some kind, so that would give me a few different options for sure. Yeah, I think... Let's jump to DC. I'll pick the Flash. I think I picked the Flash from DC. Having that kind of speed where you can essentially stop time would be amazing. Time travel is that's one of my preferred powers for sure. So actually, right now, I think I'll go with Flash and Nightcrawler. Teleportation and super speed. Not that you would necessarily need teleportation if you have super speed, but I really love both of those powers. If not Nightcrawler, then I'd probably go with Jean Grey. Her abilities, because, you know, she has really awesome telepathy and telekinesis, and telekinesis would be amazing. But definitely something to be able to move around really quickly. And Flashes, yeah, does trump Nightcrawlers because you could just, like, stop time. Obviously, there would still be boundary limitations. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could vibrate quickly enough to pass through, like, walls. But, yeah. What would I do with these powers? What would I use them for? Probably nothing good. Bonus, will you do more reactions to non-death battle stuff? I'm sure I will eventually. I mean, I still have plans of reacting to SAO Abridged at some point, but it's gonna suck if I get... Like, this... Again, I appealed for episode 12, I think I was on, the one I just barely released that was taken down. But YouTube wouldn't even pass on my appeal to the people who struck me. So I'm just never getting that video back, which really sucks. So, like, if I upload my reaction to episode 13, people are gonna ask where episode 12 is, and I'll just have to be like, sorry, it's gone, you know? But I'll probably react to more of those at some point, and I'll react to more, like, of Ship It Just Starter Squad when it comes out. As far as anything else goes, I don't have any other plans necessarily, but will I do more reactions to non-death battle stuff? Like, probably. Why did you start speedrunning? Well, for the longest while, I actually didn't care about speedrunning. I kind of disliked it because I just feel like I had a different mindset, or I didn't understand it well enough. I certainly didn't appreciate it. But to me, it was kind of like, if you like a game, why are you breaking it? Why are you trying to rush through it as quickly as possible? It just seemed almost, disrespectful. That's the word I'm thinking of. It almost seemed disrespectful at the time. But then I started, I don't remember how I started, but I ended up watching GDQ, Games Done Quick, and I binged a lot of their videos. And I just started to understand and appreciate speedrunning a little bit more. I particularly enjoyed the Pokemon games just because I had a connection to Pokemon games already. And after doing my my Magikarp run, my Magikarp solo run in Fire Red, you know, I felt like I had come to know the, you know, Gen 1 games fairly well. And so at one point I just decided, like, you know, I'm curious, how fast could I beat Red version? I know that they use a Nidoking with Horn Drill and X accuracy. Let's go. That was basically it. And so then my very first one, I completed 3 hours and 30 minutes in-game time. I wasn't keeping track, like, on a timer, and I definitely did it over several days. So it wouldn't, like, count on a leaderboard for sure. But it was, like, exhilarating. Like, I beat a Pokemon game in 3.5 hours, you know? Like, it was really cool. And then from there, I just decided I wanted to try to get better, so I kept speedrunning Pokemon Red. And that's currently the only game that I have done any speedrunning on. I don't know how long I'll continue to do that. I don't know if I'll ever speedrun any other games, but I definitely appreciate speedrunning and speedrunners a lot more than I did in the past. Favorite, least favorite death battle episode? We've already talked about the favorite stuff, which I don't really have one, you know, it's hard to say. Least favorite, things that I had some issues with. Link versus Cloud, I remember I had issues with. I don't think I'd have as many issues nowadays, you know. I'm more chill about it, more accepting. But at the time, like, I don't know, I was just really thinking that Cloud would win, you know? But also the fact that the animation was their first 3D animation, like, it's totally awesome. I'm so glad that they did that because it led to amazing things. But if we're being real, the 3D animation was not the best. So because I had issues with it and because the animation just wasn't amazing, that's probably one of my least favorites. I had issues with Sephiroth and Virgil because I just thought that, you know, I mean, there are a number of those. There's like that one. There's Beast versus Goliath. You know, just ones where I feel like they cheated a little bit. Like, obviously in Death Battle, you don't reveal all of the information. But I feel like in those ones in particular, they revealed information that they later, like, backpedaled on, you know? Or they're like, I know we said this, but we actually meant this by it. Or like, it was in this specific context, which means it was rendered moot, you know? And that just feels cheap. Like, I understand keeping things for the sake of suspense, but lying or being super misleading about something, that kind of sucks. I don't like that. Other ones I had issue with, like, are Zelda versus Peach. Again, like, I kind of feel like some of the sources they pulled from for Peach, I don't know, just disagreed with where they came from. And I just think Zelda would have been more powerful. I don't know. But my friend has told me that, like, I think my biggest issue with Peach was the fact that she won with, like, a Super Strikers, like the soccer game kick and all that. And that factored, like, pretty heavily into their conclusion. But my friend says that Peach would probably win with, like, her, what's it called? But the RPG, the Mario RPG on the SNES. Something of the 7 stars or whatever. He said that she'd probably win with her abilities from that alone. So now I'm like, oh, okay. I'll trust you. But I do remember having issues with that one. So those are some least favorite episodes. Not to say I disliked those episodes, but some of my least favorite probably. Alright, so that marks the end of this Q&A video. I have been recording for 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 46 seconds now. I have no idea how short it's going to be when I edit it together. You know, like get out all the little silent parts. Oh, sorry, I stepped on something. I don't know if I'm gonna split this up into 2 videos or something. I might, just because this is gonna be a really long video if I don't. But thank you guys for listening. I hope that I answered your questions sufficiently. I hope that you're happy with the results of this video. If you have any other questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'll try to answer them, particularly around the time this video is actually released. Again, if I have an answer to those questions. If you're asking me at some point far into the future, probably not going to see it or take the time to answer it, just so you know. But if you have any questions in the immediate, like, go ahead and ask them. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. With that, we're calling it here. Cue outro, go!